Gooners and football fans. I hope we don't have a version of YouTube running out here in Echo.
It always starts like this, then it gets used to it. Don't worry about
Okay, good. It is the Three Musketeers. Your host, Shatta, Blackburn George, who I understand is a racist because he critiqued Partey's performance yesterday. And
it.
what and my pleasure is to have our scout and analyst Ehab,
Yeah.
who on Friday made some amazing predictions.
Predictions.
You were prophetic, my friend, but we'll
I
get
thought,
there.
I thought
Yesterday,
you
guys, I got to watch a match on a delayed basis, as you all know. It was a shocking performance by Arsenal. We were comprehensively outplayed, in my opinion. And it's not an opinion. I went to online. They had more possession, they had more shots, they had more corners, they had more passes, 400 and something to our 300 and something. The accurate passes were almost double. Oh, George, it is unbelievable. Um, was that a blip or a return to the norm? Stop laughing, George. I know, I think I know where you're going, but let the fans know. I want to hear. Let me hear what you think.
The blip was 25 minutes against Tottenham Hotspur. That was the blip.
Yes, I know. I guess I think I know what you're saying. That was the high point.
6 games and an hour were the norm. But let's not get too negative. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you want to look at let's look at the positives. We've won three games and drawn 1. It was raining really hard when we had the ball. Anyway, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it was like.
George, so it stopped raining when they played.
The ball. It was raining really hard when we had it, so that made it difficult for us. We've got a very young team, and you know, going forward, that's really positive. On the negative side, we play bad football and we're shite. So, you know, you got to balance the one against the other, to be fair. But I'm coming down on the negative side because I like to watch good football. And that was absolute embarrassment. It really fucking was. I mean, we got outplayed by the mighty Brighton with a fully fit squad, bar Granit Xhaka. Now then, let's just think for a minute. Granit Xhaka, who's apparently one of the worst midfielders we've ever had, when you take him out of the team, you get outplayed by Brighton. Something doesn't stack up here. But still, who am I to question these mega brains that think that Granit Xhaka isn't a good player? It was a pretty poor performance, wasn't it?
George, and you know, in preparation for this stream, I laid in bed all night, tossing and turning about what I would make the theme. And I reflected on the fact that there were so many people, the usual artisexuals, as our Arteta stands, as we like to call them, making such grand apologies. But Ehab, is it overly pessimistic? Because that's already what they're saying, to say that our performance was shocking.
It was shocking. I mean, this is if you go back and watch the games when we used to play Barcelona and Bayern, and we used to lose by 3-4 goals. They did not. Neither of those teams dominated us 11 versus 11 like that game, like the game that we've been dominated yesterday. We had nothing going on. We had 3 counterattacks. One of them was an offside. And it's a good thing it was an offside because Aubameyang just wasted it, like he was trying to waste it. And and there's a couple. There's one where Emmett Smith Rowe
Yes.
did not pass at the right time, but those are the things that you are going to learn with time. And he doesn't. Probably if they kept Ozil or if they kept Cesc or somebody, a creative midfielder that he can learn from, he would have been able to instantly, not like think about it, like just make the pass and don't think about it. It was like a second nature, but it's not a second nature yet. And even if we scored even if he found Lacazette and he scored, it doesn't make anything better. It doesn't mean that we deserve to win. It doesn't mean that we should play like this next game or we should build on this. There's nothing to build on. What are you going to build on?
Well,
They,
but
the,
Ehab, they're gonna say you're being negative. You're what is there to build on? The team
I've
is young.
never
That's what the point George made. And
I've never thought I mean, watching Wenger's teams, I would never thought I would watch Arsenal not being able to string three passes together for 60 or 70 minutes. We only had 15 good minutes at the start of the second half. So
the end of the first half, we had another 10 minute or
for
5 minute stretch.
70 minutes, it was men against boys. Even if we got the ball out of them, they would like, hey, give it back, give it. And they would come in, take it back, and our players are completely helpless. Like even if we take they just attack and take it back within 10 seconds. They got the ball back, and that's it. We're just watching it.
What
We're not
what
getting
you
out of our half. It's embarrassing, man.
you know that was obviously a tactical ploy by them. They lined up with us man to man.
Yeah.
They used the goalkeeper as an extra man just in case, and we could not have possession of the ball. George, their tactics. This is something we said on Friday that the game would be lost, won or lost in midfield, and you made the point that perhaps if we force them to go wide, we would have a chance because that's our strength. But George, when we went, we had no answer to them when they went on the wide. Tomiyasu was embarrassed by Cucurella. Tierney was this no-name Polish guy, and Pascal Gross, who was doing Cruyff turns for fun, and Trossard had him like a baby. Frankly, George, on the flanks, I mean, what can we build on there? Is it just a matter of an inexperience?
No, it's not just a matter of inexperience. Look, I remember going back watching us playing the Carling Cup final, and Arsene Wenger put all the kids out
Right.
against Chelsea. And for 70 minutes, we battered them. They had no experience.
Yes.
They had no experience, and they were playing the top team in the country. And they outplayed them for 70 minutes. You can point to things, the experience in a particular situation counts for something. Yeah, perhaps it does. Like Eab's just said, maybe Smith Rowe could have released the ball. I think it was Saka that was running through.
Yes.
And maybe with more experience he would. But come on. Savagass at 16 was releasing the ball at the right time to the right people.
Right.
It's not that important. If you're good, you're good. And you'll just hone it with experience. But you'll still have all the moves. You'll still see the game. You'll still see the picture. Now, I don't think these players can see the picture, not because they're not good enough, because they've been painted a different fucking picture by the manager. They're confused by the manager, told to do things that aren't natural to them, and they're having to think about what they should be doing to please the manager rather than doing what they should be doing to win the game and to play good football.
George,
So, I think they're all good players, all of them. But look at the fucking midfield. I mean, Thomas Partey, what did he do in the game? I mean, He took the fucking a Spotnik out of orbit with a free kick that he took. Who the hell let him on free kicks? I mean, that's a fucking joke. I tweeted seriously that after 60 minutes, we should bring Leno on, move Ramsdale into midfield, and it would probably improve because he wouldn't be worse than Partey. And he was awful. The young Lukongo, good player, but so much out of his depth. And
Yes,
playing
he
with
was.
Partey doesn't fucking help because he doesn't help him at all. I mean, we got dominated. Look at that's an 90 million pound centre midfield pairing.
Yes.
And we got fucking dominated by a £2.50 and a pickled egg centre mid.
Exactly. Lalana is a journeyman, George. He's been up
Well,
and
he's a
down.
good player. No, he's a good player. He's
I
a good
know,
player,
but
he's
George,
well past his best.
that's
Well
what I'm saying. He's now a journeyman, and he had us in his pocket. He had Odegaard. Odegaard had to be hauled off. Had to be hauled off, George. Had to be hauled off because
he was shocking as well. But the thing is, people will say, well, Emil Smith Rowe had a good game. No, he had a decent game. He stood out as being our best player because everybody else was fucking shocking. Now, I can't accept that another 10 players, maybe 9, Saka wasn't so bad, all have a shocker at the same time. They're not. And they don't have a shocker at the same time every week like we've been doing. It's 7 games in now, and we're saying that they're all our players all have a shocker every game. No, there's something fucking wrong with the system. There's something wrong with the coaching. It's as simple as that. They cannot all be playing badly all at the same time every fucking week.
You know, George, I'm going to take this to Ehab. Ehab, the team set up, and you know, they started up briskly. And then once Brighton got the ball, they started standing off in their zones, and Brighton just attacked us. And you tell us, how did the coach Potter approach it? How did he approach? I think you said it on Friday. Just for the benefit of people, this is not hindsight. You said it. Please share with our fans. We don't even need the board if you know, because I would probably distract us.
Actually, this there's something that people need to know. This is not a fully healthy Brighton team. Mm-hmm. They are missing the best player in Basuma, player that we wanted to buy for like 40 million or something like that, and they are missing their best fullback, which is Tariq Lamptey. They're not playing, and this is
they're missing our fella there from who used to play for us in United, and he's up. In my opinion, if he was up front, he would have had fun. Help me, guys. Welbeck, yes.
Yeah, actually, they have the thing is, it's like imagine Arsenal playing without Kieran Tierney and Granit Xhaka against the team, and this is how it's gonna go. Or Kieran Tierney and I don't know. This is what they're missing right now.
The fella Mwepu who they played, he was a top recruit. Mwepu, they paid £23 million for him. He's injured too. We haven't seen much of him. But go ahead, George. Go ahead, Ehab.
Yeah, what they did is what we said they will do. They put the 4 players in midfield, and they advanced their wing backs, which is Cucurella, who's been amazing, and the guy on the right was who did they play on the right?
Veltman, I think his name is, or some.
Veltman is the Dutch guy. This guy is amazing. I liked him. I liked him ever since he
Dutch.
played.
Right.
And
but wasn't Potter in the Dutch league, Osterton, or is that a different league? No, it's not Dutch. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is what they did. They also have something they usually do, is because all of the players just come to the middle. What they do is once it gives space for the fullbacks to run.
Right.
and the fullbacks are always going up front.
Right.
And when they are pressuring weak teams, they allow one of their center backs to overlap,
And
and mostly
who was
done because
Duffy? But they either alternated Duffy or Bun to Burn,
to
Dan Burn to
overlap.
overlap, which was
Yeah, yeah, but
precisely what you said on Friday. That's what I want to emphasize.
yeah, this is what they do. They overlapping CBs, and this is why they always look to have numbers on the wings. And this actually killed us. It wasn't Tomiyasu's or KT's problem or mistake. The thing is, we play with our fullbacks a little bit forward. He does this. The thing is, the fullbacks are always forward. And if you go back to the first half, they controlled the midfield. All they did is fire balls from midfield behind Kieran Tierney, behind Tomiyasu, and it always landed. They practiced this a lot.
Mhm.
They practiced this pass a lot. They ran these passes, and Kieran Tierney was always out of position. Tomiyasu was always out of position because their fullbacks are starting from a high position. They play like wingers.
Right. They are wing
And
backs
this,
actually.
yeah, the wing backs, and Trossard was opening to the right.
Right.
So what's going on is Kieran Tierney cannot watch Trossard. Gabriel has to step out with him,
Yeah.
and now you have Ben White in a huge space in the middle. What helped us a bit in the second half is that Sambi Lokonga tracked back and covered for Tierney a lot of times. This helped a lot. This is a great decision. And Lokonga, what he did is he's a high energy guy, and
Mhm.
Tierney is a high energy guy. They're high on energy. They don't have the experience or the brains, and it's not their bad. It's not their mistake. It's because they haven't had anyone to learn from, basically. So they're always out of position, but they make out for it by running faster and running all the time. And football has to be much simpler than this. So what Lukongo did in the second half is cover for Tierney all the time. He always did these kind of things. So it kind of eased things on the wings. But what they did, and Potter is a great manager, is a very good manager. What he did is he didn't overlap to the outside when Lukongo started doing this, and he started coming from the Tumeyasu side
Right.
because Party isn't as a good of a player of Lukongo. He's not helping Tomiyasu as much as Lukongo has helped KT. And they dominated from Cucurella's side, and they started playing passes to the middle, to Mopai. And
Right.
just early passes to the middle where they would play the simple 1-2.
Right.
And they were so
And I
relaxed. They
think
were so
Marpe had
perfect.
4 shots. I counted at least 4 shots. I think there might have been more, which he missed. All of them were wide. But
Uh,
George,
amazing.
I'm gonna go to George just for a minute here.
Yeah, go ahead.
George, we in the Goonosphere have uh, George. I'm going to say you. We put the Emperor on this high pedestal after a couple of games. Just like we put Tierney on a high pedestal, and only now we discover that he's not a very good defender. He's good going forward. Is it? Am I wrong? Is it that he's a bad defender? I mean, Dan Bunn, Cucurella. Maybe let me just back up a second, George. We have this amazing. Ehab just said, is it because he wasn't getting any assistance from Partey? Because Partey had like 12 duels and only won 4. Is it that Tomiyasu is a bad player? I'm answering my own question, George.
I think you'll find Party had 12 duels and won only 2.
2.
2.
Wow. So I'm giving him credit for more.
Yeah, you're twice as bad as you said he was. No,
Well, I mean,
so
apart from those balls going to Sputnik, Jesus Christ. And who's giving him free kicks? Who's giving him free kicks? You mentioned it, George. Keep going, George. The point is Tomiyasu a bad player, or is it that he wasn't getting enough help from Partey? That's the question I ask.
no, he's a decent player and he'll be a good player. But he couldn't cope yesterday. He just couldn't cope. because
It was the wind and the rain, George.
he, yeah, he was getting too close in the first half. He
Right.
was trying to win duels in the first half. In the second half, he dropped off a little bit, and he was more effective. Now, some people could say that that's good, and it is, and that might have been Arteta as well. You know, you got to. It's easy to be critical of Arteta, but if we can see it, you can bet your life that he can see it, and he sees it clearer, and he sees it sooner than we do. So, and similarly, as Ehab's just said about Lukongo coming over and covering for KT, I think it's more likely that Arteta saw that and changed
Right.
it at halftime than the kid did it himself.
Mm-hmm.
So, for all I don't like Arteta for what he's done and the football he gives us, you've got to say that the changes, those two in particular, helped. Bringing on Lacazette and
Yes.
somebody else came on and helped. Pepe.
Pepe, yes, yes.
Bringing on, despite the fact that Pepe wasn't very effective, it certainly improved the balance of the team. And again, Arteta did that. So Arteta's made some decent moves at half time and after half time. You've got to give him credit for that. And he played the team we would all have picked anyway. We would all have picked that team.
Oh, yes, everybody did, George.
You
Every
cannot
man
go back.
down. Yes.
You can't go back and say, oh, fucking Arteta is shit. He's picked the wrong team. We would all have picked that team. And he saw that they were having problems in the first half, and he fixed some of them. So credit to him for that. And because he did that, it probably meant that we got a draw, because if it had carried on in the second half like it did in the first, I think we would certainly have lost. So even though it was a point, and it's very disappointing to be outplayed and only come away from Brighton with a point, I think Mikel Arteta has to get some of the credit for getting us that point and not us not coming away with fucking nothing, which would have been even worse. So,
yes,
I think,
George.
I think you've got to be
Balance.
You've got to be fair. I don't like being fair to Arteta, but you've got to be fair.
We're trying to be. Ehab, one of the things I detected during the commentary on my feed, which was the NBC feed, they have their own duo. I think I told you it's Graham Lesson, this other guy. His name not coming back to me. And but even when they had a power outage on the gantry, so they switched to the English feed. And throughout that feed, we had these commentators bigging up Partey. And I'm going to go back to him for a reason. Because what I see in this game is people having agendas. It has nothing to do with what is actually happening on the field of play. Can you make a few comments on this? I know George just spoke about the fact that he had 12 duels, only won 2. What you have always pointed out, you came on the show and said Thomas Partey is not a 40-something million pound player.
Yeah. He's not. I mean, he was not a complementary player. He was a player that could hide in the system. And in Atletico, he could be one of the midfielders in the system. And here he's supposed to be the big guy who carries everything, and he's not good enough to do that. I don't know. I'm shocked by him. I'm surprised. He's lazy on defense. So many times he's just standing there watching. He doesn't take the first step, attacks somebody. When he takes the ball, I try to count, because sometimes I tell people that Partey loses the ball a lot. And they're like, oh, just name one game. I stopped at 6 times. He lost the ball in our half. I think this was like the 50th minute or something like this. 6 times he lost it. One of them was on the edge of our area that always, almost created a goal if the guy was a little bit smarter. And you cannot do this. He doesn't. He's not. I don't know. He doesn't want to play. He's not focused. Uh, he's lazy. I mean, to play under Simeone for 5 years, I think, or 6 years, and to come play for Arsenal for 50 million and 13 million a year and be lazy. I mean, I don't know what's going on with that guy. And in offense, he adds zero. He doesn't get a shot on target. He doesn't create any chances whatsoever. He has one assist in so long. He's not a part of the. He had the whole game. I was looking at him. He had two good passes. The first pass of the game to Saka,
Yes, that one. Right, right. I was yes.
and one of them was like an outlet where they tried
Run a
to
counter.
to trap him, and he got an outlet out towards KT. And this was it. And I think I think people have got to start um, just recognizing this problem. We have a 50 million pound midfield. People don't understand. KDB is 54 million. I mean, who would you rather have? These people
Well,
don't
well,
understand
well,
it.
George, we
Jorginho
know
is
how it's
58.
done.
Yeah, Jorginho is 58. Uh, I mean, I don't know. But he's not. I mean, him and Odegaard cost as much as Pogba. Would you rather have Pogba or these two?
I'm not sure I want Pogba because Manchester
I
United
know.
midfield is dysfunctional. George, is that too negative, George? I mean, we're trying to be balanced here, but I want to really disabuse. I really want to really disabuse the fans of this notion because the commentators are no help. They add to the ignorance. Are we too negative?
Well, maybe we are, because I keep coming back to this, that when I'm critical of Party or Odegaard or Pepe or whoever I'm being critical of, I keep thinking, yeah, but they've all got the same root problem at the root. Mikel Arteta's system
Right.
not suiting anybody. So why pick out Party and say he's crap because he cost £50 million? Well, Aubameyang's crap and he cost £50 million.
And £400 a week.
And Pepe's crap and he cost £73 million.
Yeah.
There's
Yes.
a common denominator here.
Yes.
They're all crap in this system. So to just pick on him, that's what makes me stop and think maybe it can't be this bad. It can't
Yes.
be this bad. But neither can any of them. So why only pick on the new guys that have come in and blame them? Do you know what I'm
I pick
saying?
on Party. I pick on Party because people praise him for no reason.
Well,
This is
so
the
do
only.
I.
That's
So do
that's
I.
that's the reason why I focused on, because I heard the commentators doing that and I was like, are you watching the same game that I am? But anyway, let's
Yeah.
leave Thomas Partey out of it. He got his yellow card from Moss for chatting. But
He's
but
not,
he, you
but
know,
people make him up to be this diamond that's living in the trash.
yeah.
Like, oh my God, Thomas Partey doesn't deserve this. He deserves. He's as bad as everybody else. And I don't know. This is why I praise. I think Dennis Bergkamp is the best player to ever play in an Arsenal shirt. And one of the things he's done when a new manager came at Inter Milan, and he said he wants him to play defense, Dennis Bergkamp stood up and he said, "No, you have to sell me. I'm not going to do that." And if our players did that, we're going to have a team with no players because nobody wants to do what Arteta is doing. I
Well,
praise I praised Arteta for the Congo, the adjustments at halftime, but to be always fair, it's his fault. What's going on is his fault. Maybe he'll learn. He's just 80 games or 90 games, maybe another 100, 120 games.
yeah, you can see me. I mean, I don't know, because Graham Potter outcoached him. Graham Potter has implemented a system that without four of his first line players,
Yeah.
they outplayed us, and I want that to be. And the rain wet everybody, the wind blew on everyone, and
Yeah.
they outplayed us. They put the ball on the carpet most of the time.
And it's not like those
And we
people are
worked.
playing
They ran
in.
rings around us.
Yeah.
This is incontrovertible. And if we don't face up to that fact, now maybe Arteta in a few years' time if he had started at Osterton, like, is it Osterton? I don't think I got the pronunciation, but that team made it to the Champions League from where I think it's a Danish league, it is, right? Before he got this job. You lot got
It's
to learn somewhere, and Arteta is learning at
Ospersson.
Arsenal. And guys, it's not working so far. It's a 500 million pound team versus a 250 million pound team market value. We played like the 250 million pound team. Am I wrong or right, George?
Yeah, of course you're right. But what can you do? Really, what can you do? Is I said earlier on, I don't mind people being positive and thinking that Arteta can be good and successful,
Yes.
and that we will improve and we will move up the league and we will compete more as months and years go by. That's fine. That's
Yes.
an opinion, and they're
Yes.
absolutely entitled to have it. What
Yes.
I object to is them saying that he's been a success up until now when he's been a failure up until now. Yeah,
Shot
it's
in the
shocking,
Premier League
awful,
on target.
absolutely awful.
Mhm.
But you're entitled to think that he could be a good player. You might have watched him at Atletico Madrid and saw a good player and wonder why he's not a good player at Arsenal. But don't tell me he is a good player at Arsenal. Tell me you think he could be. Tell me you think he should be. But for fuck's sake, do not tell me he has been a good player because he's been shocking.
Well,
But then again, who hasn't? Who hasn't in the last 18 months?
let's wrap this up with a final question. Where do we? I'm starting with you, Ehab. Where do we go from here? We got the international break. I don't remember who we play. I think you have a good grip on that because in our DM group, I'm not going
Crystal
to reveal
Palace.
any secrets, but you're not very optimistic about the number of points you will accumulate by December. Because you've been forecasting. But where do we go from here, my friend?
Uh, yeah, we play Crystal Palace when we come back, and this is going to be
Wow.
interesting.
So
Patrick Vieira.
Patrick Vieira
He-
has
yeah,
an itch up his ass because we passed him on for this job.
yeah, but he has a bad team. I mean, Crystal Palace is a poor team, but you never know. We've made Burnley look like Barcelona, and I don't know. As I said, we are right on track. I said we could go to Brighton and snatch a point.
That was
We
your
beat
prediction.
we beat Tottenham.
But
I
you
thought we would
predicted
draw
2-1
with
on
Tottenham.
Friday. You
Yeah,
predicted two people. I held my beer. I said I wasn't sure of that. And George said, well, Shatter, you're just playing the opportunists. But I was not convinced. Come on, Iab. But you
no,
you thought we'd get a point?
yeah. I get we could win. I thought we could win, but we were shocking. I mean, oh my God, I've never thought I'd see something like this, and we have to. I think we're gonna come like by Christmas we're gonna have 26, 27 points. Now this is gonna lead you to 50 points, which is around 10th. And I don't know. I don't know. This is bad. I mean, I'm not very optimistic about it. You have to show something to know where you're going, but there's nothing we saw. Even our defense was shit. Don't get that clean shit bullshit fool you. I mean, Mopai had like three sitters. One of them was when he got inside the 6 yard box. This guy, the
Well, he
defender,
hooked
the
them
big.
all wide. He hooked them all wide. Don't worry about how he had about 4 or 5 chances, and all of them went wide. And
Yeah, they all went wide.
Ramsdale, the one that he was nailed on, Ramsdale made a excellent save.
Brilliant
Yeah,
save, like the
yeah,
Seaman save.
yeah.
And this is, you look at it and you think the defense hasn't been good. You don't think, I mean, how many, if we play like this against good attackers, I mean, they're going to punish us badly. If we play like this against Crystal Palace and they got Wilfred Zaha up top,
Oh yeah,
this is an easy hat trick. He's not Neil Mopai. He's not Dunn. He's not Trossard. He's not any of this. The guy who played for them yesterday, Moder,
yes,
he's 21 years old from
yeah.
Poland.
Yes.
They are experimenting with academy players against Arsenal. I mean, they try new players against Arsenal,
And
and this is
he played very well.
and he played well. I mean,
The
this
Polish
guy.
lad.
If we
Yeah.
play
So
this
but
guy again next
yeah.
year, he's gonna score against us because he had his chances. He ran circles around party, and he didn't cost 50 million. He doesn't cost 50,000.
Yeah, I know. Polish players are cheap, by the way, and that's why the Germans recruit them. But you are thinking, let us get this. You're thinking that at the rate we're going, perhaps 26 points by Christmas. George, where do we go from here to wrap this up?
Well, just to go on about the defence for a minute, people are saying, "Oh, we defended well." Not for a good team, we didn't.
Yeah.
We defended well for a bottom of the league team clinging on for dear fucking life. That's what we, you see it. You see it often, don't you?
Yes.
Where the
And
goals
then the bottom
peppered.
fall out, George, and then the bottom falls out one day.
Yeah, and they're throwing the bodies in the way, and there's feet catching the ball, stopping it going out. It's getting deflected wide. That's not good defending. That's last-ditch defending that you put down to a poor team. That's all they can do. Pack the box and try to block shots. Don't tell me we're defending well. Don't tell me 0-0 means we've defended well. It means we defended desperately. Is it
Maldini, George? Is it Maldini who said that if you have to tackle? Is it Ehab? You're the one who loves a quote. You have to tackle, then you are in a bad position. Something to that effect. One of the great defenders said that. Keep going, George.
So where we go from here is where I said we'd be going before the season started. Very, very much entrenched in mid-table. Very much entrenched in mid-table. Now, whether we're one of the better teams in mid-table or one of the worst teams in mid-table, we'll have to wait and see. But with 3 months without the only good centre mid player we have injured.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's a bad sign. That's not a good omen.
And we've seen it already. We've seen it already. What happens when Granit Xhaka's missing? And,
well, George, I want to say here that the big old YouTube, the biggest YouTube channel, you don't need to call them by name, but the first video they sent out was to say we are already missing Granit Xhaka. I said, okay, finally somebody in that lot is beginning to see some sense. Guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. Both George and Shatta, we've done this too often, George. Start talking about each other in the third person. George and Ehab, but basically saying this is a mid-table outlook. And I agree with you guys.
Yeah.
I agree with you. This time I'm not gonna hedge my bets. You will have the occasional spurt. And as a matter of fact, we play well against the good teams because we will sit back and we know how to counter them. But when it comes to the teams that are in our part of the league, the mid-table teams, we struggle because we have a very hard time working out how to play them, and they come to play us. And Brighton came man on man against us, and our team was not up to it. No, this is not a very popular opinion, guys. People don't like hearing this. In fact, they don't like, they're going to say George and Ehab are negative, and that idiot Shatta, he's also being just carrying an agenda. But this is a fact. And we'll see. We have an international break. I'll try to have some interviews. So hopefully you guys will be around. Thank you very much. Fans, remember to like and subscribe. Our opinion is not going to be popularized on other channels. They don't want to hear it because they're in it for money. They're in it for clicks, not for the facts, not for the football. Thank you very much, guys. See you next time.
Thanks, George. Thanks, Sean.
All righty, bye.